We start today with outgoing, soon to be retiring Republican Senator Mitt Romney. Is Mitt Romney the last real conservative of some kind? I don't know. That's probably a bit of an exaggeration. But Mitt Romney has increasingly, particularly over the last months, if not couple of years, been one of the most clear voices on the Republican side, willing to criticize the abortive nature of MAGA Trumpism. Now, this is not our hero. You will remember that at one point, it sort of seemed like maybe Trump was considering Mitt Romney for Secretary of State, and Mitt Romney did the whole thing. He went and had dinner with Trump where it was like frog's legs, and maybe there was turtle soup, maybe there wasn't, I don't remember. He did the whole pilgrimage, and then it turned out Trump didn't want him. And over time, Mitt Romney has become one of the most critical Republican voices against Donald Trump. He has now truly infuriated MAGA over the weekend because he was interviewed on ABC, I believe this is. And he said, listen, not only would I vote for most of the Republican candidates over Trump in 2024, I would vote for a bunch of the Democrats over Trump in 2024. And although this might sound like bluster or whatever, this is actually a critical line because we know that for so many Republicans, even those that don't like Trump, but I'm not voting for a Democrat. It doesn't matter how bad I think Trump is. I'm not voting for Hillary or Sleepy Joe. But Mitt Romney is very clear. And he says, most of the Democrats are better than Trump, too. Take a listen.
Who do you like in the Republican field?
Anybody. I'd be happy to support virtually any one of the Republicans. Maybe not Vivek, but the others that are running would.
Vivek would be a bridge too far for Mitt Romney.
Would be acceptable to me, and I'd be happy to vote for them. I'd be happy to vote for a number of the Democrats, too. I mean, would be an upgrade from, in my opinion, from Donald Trump and perhaps also from Joe Biden. Look, I like President Biden. I find him a very charming, engaging person. There's some places I agree with him, but most places I disagree with him. I think he's made all sorts of terrible mistakes. But I would like to see someone else run.
So there's a bunch of interesting stuff here to talk about. First of all, one of the stories being told by MAGA is Mitt Romney is now on the left. Mitt Romney has moved left. He's a Democrat. He's a liberal. He's a progressive. He's a socialist. He's a communist. He's a Marxist. He's whatever. The reality is that Mitt Romney has really not moved. He's still saying, I have some areas of agreement with Joe Biden, relatively uncontroversial areas. I mostly disagree with Joe Biden. This is similar to when I say I would choose Chris Christie over any of the other Republican candidates. He's the only genuinely sane person. He's the only one today willing to tell the truth about Trump. For a while, he was sucking up to Trump, too. But that doesn't mean I agree with the guy politically. I'm just taking partisan politics out of it and recognizing basic truths. That's what Mitt Romney is doing here. Mitt Romney didn't move to the left. You could say, he's been a little more vocal about concerns about racism, like around the Black Lives Matter movement, but he's not moved to the left in any serious way on any actual policy issue. The change has been that if you go back 20 years or even back to 2012, 11 years when Mitt Romney was the Republican nominee, is that the Republican Party has moved so dramatically to the right to an extreme degree. My instinct actually is that ultimately Mitt Romney will endorse Joe Biden, assuming, of course, that Donald Trump is the nominee. And by the way, again, record polling for Trump now surpassing 60% in the Republican primary. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I expect that Romney will actually endorse Joe Biden. And they're waiting on the timing for it to be better, probably once there's actually a Republican nominee. And once Biden is the Democratic nominee, that will be the time to do it. So this is not about romanticizing Mitt Romney, a guy who on policy I would mostly have disagreements with, much the same way that Mitt Romney says he mostly has disagreements with President Joe Biden. And there's a little vignette here that is very illuminating. Think back to 2012. Mitt Romney's big scandal was he said he had a binder full of women candidates to be on his cabinet. Inarticulately said, The idea of women as objects in his binder, it sounded very bad. That was the Romney scandal. And that seems so hilariously quaint in 2023 and in considering where MAGA has shifted or moved the Republican Party today. So Mitt Romney has not moved left. He's just saying what any actual conservative, I mean, again, remember, what is there that's conservative about MAGA Trumpism? It's reactionary. It uses populist rhetoric, but there's nothing conservative about it other than the vague notion, right? The vague notion of let's go back to the way things were in the 1950s. That's the one overlap with actual conservatism that MAGA Trumpism has. But beyond that, there's nothing conservative about it. Mitt Romney realizes it. Mitt Romney doesn't like it. Good for him. I only wish that we had more younger Republicans who aren't leaving public office willing to say this sort of thing, rather than waiting until you're 75 and retiring to say it. Adam Kinzinger is doing it. I get it. Liz Cheney to some degree, but these are people who are really on the outside at this point. So that's where we are. Good for Mitt Romney. MAGA is triggered. People in my audience who sometimes struggle with sleep. You know, you've got those habit-forming prescription medications, which sometimes have side effects. You've got your herbal remedies that often do nothing. That's why the go-to can be melatonin, which is clinically proven to work and without the side effects and the grogginess. Our sponsor, Beam, makes delicious nighttime hot cocoa drinks called Dream with melatonin to help you get to sleep. Melatonin can also help correct circadian rhythm disturbances to get your schedule back on track. Like, for example, if you have jet lag. Beam's Dream Hot Cocoa with melatonin comes in great tasting flavors like mint chocolate chip, chocolate peanut butter, sea salt caramel, or caramel. Come on. No sugar added, sweetened with monk fruit, only 15 calories per serving. My favorite is cinnamon cocoa. I'll just be upfront. It's great to have before bed sometimes. It's hot, very flavorful, but not overly sweet. It's just a soothing way to wind down like an hour before going to bed. If you want to try Beam's best-selling Dream Powder, take advantage of their biggest sale of the year. Get up to 50% off for a limited time when you go to shopbeam.com/Pacman. The link is down below.